Hello, my friends. I am here with Little Scraps, Big Impact, making embellishments with Ginger's Corner. And this month we are making flowers for our embellishments. And so here you can see a couple flowers that I made, and I'm going to show you how I made them. And hopefully I won't bump the video, get my head in the video. I am trying to film this with hubby's phone, have been having a lot of trouble with my own phone. And so trying to use hubby's phone, and I have to sit because I'm having a lot of trouble with my leg and back right now. And so anyways, enough of that. Let's talk about these flowers. These are very simple. I made those for an example, and I'm going to show you how I made them. But before that, I also made this little container full of flowers using the same dyes, and so you can see they're all made from different pink scraps, and they're all very different. And so I just wanted to show you that little collection. Some are small, some are medium, some are large. And so I wanted to show you those, and then I'll show you how I made these. I cut these shapes out on my die cutting machine, and this little one I cut from a punch. And I am going to pause the video because I forgot my daubers. Okay, I have my ink daubers, and they're kind of very vital for this. I'm going to be using warm lipstick for my pink, and I'm going to be using Mowed Lawn for the green color for the leaves. And also for the leaves, I have my Tri-Blend marker, and this one is light green blend, so I can do kind of the little outlines. And so first thing I'm going to do is get my pink and go ahead and ink all the edges of these flowers. And so flowers are just starting to bloom here in upstate New York. I'm actually in the Finger Lakes region, if you know where that is, close to Rochester, New York, which actually is where Kodak started, if you're familiar with Kodak cameras. And there is the George Eastman House, who is the person who invented, or his company was very involved in the Kodak cameras, I think invented. And panoramic cameras, my great uncle was involved with George Eastman to help develop panoramic cameras, and he's taken many panoramic views, and some of them are down in Washington, D.C. So that's actually quite the memory there. So that's a little bit of talk. My great uncle's name, oh my, now I'm going to forget it. I have to think about it. Related to me on my grandmother's side, and the name is not coming up to my mind, but it will later. You guys ever have those memory lapses? So here I'm just going around the edges of all of these with the green and the pink, the worn lipstick, and the Mowed Lawn. And just to give, especially this white core, this is white core, because you can see the white after you cut it, cardstock. And I was just using up green and pink scraps, and I cut a whole bunch so that I would have some pink flowers to use on upcoming layouts. And this is how I usually make some of my flowers when I make them from my dies and my punches. I always try to ink the edges and just give them a little bit more, depth and a little bit more show on the page. So let's see, I have inked all 3 of those. And then I want to show you how I will go ahead and do the lines. I will take my tri-blend marker and use the lightest color, and I will just follow the lines. You can see there's lines already there. Hopefully I'm holding that right. I apologize, but I cannot stand up for this one and make sure things are going well. I just take an outline right over top of the lines, the dotted lines that are already there on this particular die cut leaf, and they do fade. I mean, they look really, really bright right now, but they do fade, and you'll see as I continue to work with them that the color does fade. And right now they look a little jarring, but there you can see that the first one I did is already fading off. And then the big leaf, I kind of want to outline so you can see that there's 2 leaves there, and go up. I'm just following these little lines that are already there, and that's another hint with die cuts to kind of give them a little bit more image. But if you really want to see someone work with die cuts and make them come to life, my friend Ronnie Sue Scrapper, she amazes me with how she details her die cuts, and just the things that she punches out and the things that she makes with punches. I am much newer at this. And then also check out the others that are there. I have all my outlines done. The others that are participating in this monthly hop, and the monthly hop is Little Scraps, Big Impact, Making Embellishments with Ginger's Corners, and I will have the link to that down below. And there are some very amazing and talented embellishment makers that participate with this. And I have some tools to help shape these, and I've seen Ronnie Sue use some tools to help shape these as well as some others, but I don't know where they are. So so sometimes I'm just also don't want to go get up and get them if I'm only making one flower or trying to. And a lot of times I just use my fingernail. This is pretty good cardstock. You can hear that it is. And so it's very easy to just bend it up with my fingernail. And that is what I did for the flowers that I made. I just bended it up, and it's probably hard to see on this little one, so I will show it to you on the bigger ones. I just take the edge and my fingernail. You could take some tweezers also, and I just bend it up, a couple times so that it has paper memory and it remembers being bent up, and I bend up the flowers. So the flowers that are blooming here right now are daffodils. There are some tulips coming up, especially if you have a sunny yard. And the trees are just starting to bloom, and and so here you just see, that's all I'm doing is bending up the flower petal to give it a little bit of, just a little bit of dimension. And they do flatten out when you put them in your layout, but they do add some dimension. You can actually see them. And the leaves you can also bend up. I usually bend them on that middle crease that goes down the middle, and that gives them a little bit of life. And the birds are back, the robins, and they've been back for about a month, I think, and they're singing, and I love to hear them singing. So spring is just happy. It's renewal, and it just reminds me of, that sometimes winter is, harsh and gray, and can be just very, very difficult sometimes. And then spring comes. And so it just always reminds me when I'm in difficult time that spring does come. Renewal does come. And so here I am just going to put a little bit of glue on this flower back, and then when I put them together, I make sure that the petals are lined up differently. So you can see these petals are lining up at the middle portion here, and they're not directly lined up with the other petals of the flower. And so that also gives it a little bit more, I guess, realistic look. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this small one, and I'm going to offset the petals so that it gives it a little bit more dimension, a little bit more realistic look. And then for the very center, I have some little crystals, and I am going to pick this middle size, and I'm going to get my little dot of glue in the center, and, well, it probably had sticky on it. Well, I might have to use the tweezers. That must have had a little bit of stick to it, you know, live video and all. And I am going to, I might have to resort to the fingers. Yep, if you have trouble, just get the fingers. That had a little sticky on the back, so it, and a lot of times mine don't. So there you go. I can either use these smaller flower leaves, or I can use this big one. And so that is how I made these beautiful flowers and leaves for my scrapbook layouts that I hope to be able to use soon. If not, though, I use them on card fronts. And I actually made for a collaboration I'm in, I made a lot of cards, and I completely used up a 48-page 6x6 paper album, and that will air tomorrow, May 1st. And the collaboration is the one that I do with Melanie from A Creatively Crafted Life, and it is our stash revival, because mostly what I use on my channel is my stash or scraps, and I have not been purchasing new items, and I am trying to make things from the scraps to use for layouts. And so here you see 3 beautiful flowers, 3 different sizes, and once again, the link down below for Little Scraps, Big Impact, Making Embellishments, the hop. There's several people that participate. There's actually more than a handful, and they make beautiful embellishments. Mine are rather simple, but they still make a big impact on a page. So I thank you for tuning in. I thank you, my subscribers, and I hope you guys have a crafty day. Bye.